many people listening there to our discussion with Frank Warren, boxing promoter, who was talking about that bill in Saudi Arabia over on December the 23rd, when we saw Joseph Parker do a job on Wilder, but we saw AJ do a job very definitely on the Swede Otto Wallin. Spencer Oliver has stopped by. Spencer, Frank, a little bit prickly when we talked about a lack of atmosphere, and for no other reason. We're saying it because, and I think we're agreed on this, although this man and I were not there, you were. Saudi Arabia is looked upon as the big future in the world of boxing. This is where all the big fights are going to be centralised. But is it not a legitimate, relevant point to say it was somewhat lacking in atmosphere? You were there, we weren't. Was it?
Yeah, I think the reason it was lacking in atmosphere was because we haven't got the travelling fans. And I think that we know what the English crowd are like. You know, they get behind, they like to get behind the fighters, especially Anthony Joshua. And there wasn't the travelling fans there. That's what they're lacking at the moment. I think that is down to costs. Not so much the cost of the ticket over there. I spoke to one English fan actually who was over there. He paid £25 for a ticket in a pretty good seat as well. I mean, there was probably 5,000-6,000 there.
Do you think part and parcel of the boxing world is atmosphere and the need for it? Because Frank was saying, and I agree with him to some extent, it's not just picking a hole in what was a great event that he put together, because he opened the door, he worked the oracle, right? And the criticism about the atmosphere he doesn't like because it's like picking holes in something. Mm-hmm. But to replicate, if you're going to be the fight capital of the world, you've got to look and feel like Vegas. You've got to look and feel like Madison Square Garden. You've got to look and feel like Wembley Stadium.
Exactly.
Can they do that in Saudi, do you think?
I think they definitely can, because, look, I mean, they've got the structure over there. They've been building, they've been building everywhere as you go. You've seen it change over the last few years or so. So I think they've got the right vision, 100%. They just need to get
the dough.
They've got the money. They need to get the travelling fans. And now, you say, how are they going to do that? It's not the cost price of the ticket; it's the travelling to go there and the staying there, etc. And I think that's what we need to look at. How much it's going to be for travelling fans.
Frank's doing a bit about that as well, Spencer. They've already had a big interest in Fury Usyk, and a lot of people who love their boxing are going out there already. Mm-hmm. So we might see that seriously G'd up in terms of atmosphere.
Well, do you know what, Jim? I mean, you look at that bill that they put on the 23rd. I mean, it was incredible. It's the who's who of boxing on that card. And the travelling fans weren't there. Probably less than 100 people that I saw there from Britain. So that is the big problem. And I think that's the problem with the atmosphere, because, that's where the fans are. The British fans are the ones that make all the noise, and I think that's what we need to see. Yeah. I do believe we'll get more fans there for Usyk versus Tyson Fury, and I think that's because we've got the Undisputed, a fight that we've been waiting for so long. But look, 2024, I think, is going to be a big year in Saudi Arabia. I think that is evident. I think they're talking about March the 9th, aren't they, for the next big show out there. So all they need now, the only missing element is those fans.
Is there a miss to a degree? No alcohol in the stadium, or was there in the arena?
No, there's no alcohol in Saudi Arabia.
It was the same with you and I in Qatar.
But in Qatar,
does that play a part?
Absolutely. Listen, plays a huge part, because sporting fans like alcohol and watching sport goes with it, especially the boxing fans as well. I think that is a big problem, and it's not like you can get alcohol in the hotels or anywhere. I mean, there's no alcohol in Saudi Arabia. It's a totally dry place, and I think they've got that 2030 vision where they're looking at. They've got the World Cup there, haven't they?
It'd be interesting to see, because ultimately it is an unfair comparison, because he is right. I remember going to the Madison Square Garden to see Lennox Lewis fight Evander Holyfield and seeing the British fans turn up and shock the living daylights out of the American fans. You see Ricky Hatton and his tribe, and it'd be interesting to see when you get a generational fighter that has a support base that wants to travel around the world, whether they're going to land in there. And we mustn't celebrate some of the things that go on, because some of the times you go into boxing arenas and you see the amount of people getting themselves into a situation where they're raucous, and it's not a great raucousness, it's a poor raucousness. But I would be interested to see, because I made the point to Frank, and I make it to you, that Deontay Wilder is the flip side of the Saudi argument, because there's so much money on the table. The reason why you got Wilder to Saudi Arabia was because they offered him so much money, and what you got was nothing left of Deontay Wilder. And it was almost like a Trade Descriptions Act. What was that, Deontay Wilder?
Yeah, absolutely. I think what it is it's a young man's sport. Deontay Wilder's had one fight in 26 months. That was a one-round blowout of Robert Helenius. So we never really knew, like Deontay Wilder said, the training had been going well, the sparring had been going really well, but that is different to actually competing. And I think what we saw there on the 23rd was Deontay Wilder getting old overnight. And I don't think it was a bad night. I think that if he goes back in the ring again, we'll see very much the same. No, he didn't. He totally, everything seems to have left him. I mean, he come in at 15 stone 3 for a heavyweight these days. It's not big enough.
Will we see him back?
I think we will see him in the ring again, but not the Deontay Wilder that we used to know. I think that he will get back there, because He's at that stage of his career where he's now searching for himself, see if he has really got it. He's thinking to himself, was it just a bad night? Is it because of the inactivity? I need to go again. I need to find out myself. So we will see him in the ring again. Don't think it'll be against Anthony Joshua, though, that's for sure.
Yeah. Just to re-emphasise the fact, though, you were there, as I say, Simon and I were not. For you, it was a thumbs up. It was a winner. It was a night like you have not seen here in this country in terms of the bill they put on.
Absolutely. I mean, that would go hard. You go hard to actually beat a bill like that. With the names you had in there, you had 10 of the top 15 heavyweights boxing on that bill. Jai Opataya was on the bill. Dimitri Bivol was on the bill. It was crazy. It was like you look right down the list. I think there was 8 fights on there or so. You look right down the list, and what would be considered the bottom of the bill was just like absolutely insane. It was a world title fight. I mean, it's crazy. I mean, I think that it's a massive thumbs up for what they're trying to do and what they're trying to achieve out there. Yeah, the atmosphere was maybe lacking a little to what we get here, but I think it will only improve.
Spencer, thanking you. And Spencer, you'll be back Thursday when we talk boxing further on the show, as we always do. We'll have an update for you on Fury's preparations for Usyk. Spencer Oliver, we thank you.